There are people who spend their entire lives saying, "One day I will change. One day I'll leave this job. One day I'll take care of my health. One day I'll get rich." But let me tell you a truth that may hurt. That one day never comes. Do you know why? Because he is a comfortable illusion, a cute disguise for procrastination. And while you wait for the perfect moment, there are people turning chaos into impulse and starting from scratch, with courage. The difference between those who achieve and those who only dream is in this simple but brutal decision. Keep postponing or declare that today is your day one. This may sound counterintuitive, but the secret is not in perfect planning, nor in having everything under control. It's about deciding, even with fear, even without money, even without support. Napoleon Hill once said, "Action is the true measure of intelligence." Waiting for ideal conditions is the safest way to keep your life exactly as it is. Now, choosing to start, even imperfectly, is the trigger for the manifestation, mental reprogramming, and abundance you so desire. This is not a temporary motivation. It's about activating the success mindset that is already there within you, but is dormant. If you feel like you deserve more, but don't know where to start, stay with me in this video. Because what I'm going to show you here is not cheap motivation. It is a new way of thinking, acting, and living. And if you apply what you will learn here, you can transform your reality faster than you imagine. And no, it's not baseless self-help talk. It's applied mentality. It's real personal growth. And it all starts with this question. Will you keep saying one day, or will you choose to make this moment your true one? Day one. In fact, if you've already felt that this video will open something inside you, take the opportunity now to subscribe to the channel. This is essential to continue receiving content that will feed your mind and keep you firm on this journey of transformation. Start boldly, the power of day one. There are people who keep saying, "One day I'll start," but that one day never comes. This is the mentality that postpones dreams, kills ideas, and paralyzes any attempt at personal growth. What separates those who transform lives from those who only dream of transforming it is the courage to say, "Today is my first day." Napoleon Hill talked a lot about this, about how the power of the mind can only be activated when there is action. Procrastination is a form of sabotage disguised as prudence. What if, instead of waiting, you decided to start right now? Starting is never comfortable. Changing careers, starting a business, starting a new self-care routine, all of these require a person to embrace discomfort. But it is at that moment, when you take the first step, that the wheel of manifestation begins to turn. Mental reprogramming happens when concrete action begins to replace negative thoughts with positive thinking and attitude. And you know what's curious? Even without knowing all the steps, the act of starting already attracts abundance, new ideas, new connections. Because the universe rewards movement. Imagine someone who wants to get rich, gain financial independence. Most wait for the right moment to start studying investments, but the right moment is when they decide. How about picking up a book like Who Thinks Gets Rich Today? Or open a video about self-discipline and success mindset. The first day doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to exist. Big changes don't start with big actions, but with small daily commitments. The key is to start before you feel ready. This first day is symbolic. It's when you break with the limiting beliefs that told you weren't good enough, or that you needed to wait for someone's approval. Getting started is an act of self-help, a silent vote of confidence in yourself. People who decided to act despite being afraid are the ones who changed their own destiny. And you? What are you waiting for to manifest the reality you desire? Choose the first step, even if small, and take control. In fact, if this content is already changing your worldview, take advantage and subscribe to the channel here. This is very important for the growth of the channel and, mainly, for you to continue receiving videos that can really transform your life. The journey that begins now is long, deep, and full of discoveries. And believe me, what comes after this first step will change everything. Life is a vast field of possibilities, and every day, without exception, presents a crossroads. Stay where you are or take a step forward. This seemingly simple decision has the power to shape destiny. Napoleon Hill said that fortune favors those who make courageous decisions. The truth is that, when it comes to personal development and professional growth, what differentiates the accomplished from the frustrated is the consistent choice to act, even when fear screams louder than will. The power of the mind begins to operate when you choose movement over paralysis. Thomas Edison did not create the light bulb by divine inspiration, but by stubborn insistence. He failed thousands of times before getting it right, but with each attempt, he made one choice: continue. This is self-discipline in its purest form. Choosing to act, even without guarantees, is one of the greatest proofs that you are committed to self-improvement. And you know what's more powerful? Each decision made with clarity reinforces your success mindset. Accumulated decisions build habits, and habits build destiny. You can choose to wake up 30 minutes earlier to study manifestation and mental reprogramming. You can choose to exchange that time on social media for reading like The Power of the Subconscious by Joseph Murphy. Every small choice is a seed planted. And if you feed these seeds with daily affirmations and positive thinking, they grow toward wealth and abundance. It's not about magic, but about mental and emotional strategy. It's like tuning your mind to a new frequency. Most people believe that great achievements come from great events. But the secret lies in the consistency of daily choices. Choose not to complain. Choose to seek solutions. Choosing to trust, even when everything seems uncertain. These micro-decisions, which no one sees, are what determine the course of your reality. Manifesting new life begins with repeating these small but powerful decisions. The future is not a chance, it is a construction. And the most beautiful thing of all this? Each new choice opens a new door. And as you walk through these doors, a fundamental question arises that leads us to the next big secret. What is your purpose? What really moves you? Without purpose, life becomes a drifting boat. The person even moves, but doesn't get anywhere. Napoleon Hill made this clear throughout his work. A clear definition of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. And we're not talking about a vague desire like, I want to be happy, but something concrete that lights an inner flame. Personal development begins when the mind finds direction. Clarity of purpose eliminates confusion, dissolves limiting beliefs, and transforms any effort into meaningful movement. Think of Walt Disney. He faced bankruptcy, rejection, ridicule, but he never lost sight of his purpose, to create a fantasy world that inspired people. Or Andrew Carnegie, who used his fortune not just to get rich, but to educate generations. They moved not out of vanity, but out of vision. And it is this vision that keeps a person firm on difficult days. The power of the mind aligns with manifestation when there is a clear intention, and that's where the magic happens. A mind without purpose is like a car with an engine but no steering wheel. Want to discover your purpose? Start by asking yourself simple and profound questions. What makes me forget about time when I'm doing it? If I had unlimited money, what would I choose to do every day? What would I do even if no one paid me for it? Write the answers. Read books like Discover Your Strengths or Purpose by Sri Prem Baba. Create a self-help routine with affirmations that connect you with your essence. Because when purpose is found, everything else begins to organize around it. This is why so many people live in stagnation. It's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of direction. When the mind doesn't know where to go, any path seems good, until it becomes frustration. But when you have a guiding star, any obstacle becomes a stage, not an end. And this clarity is so powerful that it even influences your environment. You attract opportunities, people and situations that vibrate at the same frequency as your purpose. This is not empty mysticism, it is mental reprogramming in practice. But even with a strong purpose, the path will not always be straight. There will be falls, delays, frustrations. And that's where a force comes in that separates dreamers from doers: resilience. How many times have you thought about giving up just because things didn't go as planned? This happens to everyone. But what defines who will manifest a life of abundance and who will surrender to frustration is resilience. Abraham Lincoln lost countless elections, faced bankruptcy, saw death knock on his family's door, and yet he rose again, transforming pain into purpose. He understood that setbacks are part of personal growth, and that the only true failure is to stop trying. The mind that wants to enrich and evolve needs to learn to resist wisely. Resilience is not about resisting blindly, it is about adapting, it is about growing with each impact. A mind focused on self-improvement sees failures not as an end, but as a push. Napoleon Hill said that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent benefit. And that's what wise people do. They reprogram the mind to find opportunities, even in chaos. Positive thinking is not denying difficult reality, but rather training you to see further. It's looking into the dark and knowing that, even without seeing, there is still a way. Want a practical example? If you are experiencing financial difficulties, start small. Make it a habit to study finances every day, even for 15 minutes. Watch success mindset videos, read The Richest Man in Babylon, or The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Use affirmations to break limiting beliefs like money is difficult or I will never be successful. Resilience begins when you decide not to stop, even when it's hard. And that decision, to continue, has a ripple effect on your reality. Many people give up halfway because they think failure is a sign that it wasn't meant to be. But failure is part of the process. People who achieve wealth, inner peace, and spiritual growth are those who understand this deeply. Retreating is not going backwards, it is gaining momentum. And the more you resist, the stronger you become. True motivation comes from commitment to your own transformation. With each fall, the mind strengthens, faith increases, vision clears. In fact, if this video is already touching something inside you, don't forget to like it right now and subscribe to the channel here. This strengthens our purpose of spreading these teachings and helps you not miss any new content. The next step on this journey will talk about a silent but absolutely essential power to transform thoughts into reality: self-confidence. Self-confidence is the bridge between dream and achievement. It's that inner voice that says, you can do it, even when everything around you says otherwise. And the most curious thing? It's not about arrogance, but about a calm certainty which comes from within. The Wright brothers, for example, did not have engineering degrees or abundant financial resources. What they had was conviction. They believed in the power of the mind, in the manifestation of an idea that did not yet exist. And that belief, that silent strength, was more powerful than any evidence to the contrary. Napoleon Hill reinforces this in several passages. Before any external conquest, it is necessary to conquer one's own spirit. Self-confidence destroys limiting beliefs, stimulates positive thinking, and ignites motivation, even on the darkest days. When you believe in yourself, your brain begins to operate on another level. He seeks solutions, connects ideas, attracts opportunities. It's not magic, it's neuroscience applied to personal development. It's as if your mind is saying to the universe, I am ready to receive. But how to strengthen this trust? A good start is to practice affirmations every day. Say out loud, I am capable, I deserve to live in abundance, my mind is programmed for success. Write these sentences and stick them on the mirror. Meditate for 5 minutes, imagining yourself living the life you want. Read books like Limitless Power by Tony Robbins, which explores how decisions shape destiny. Create small goals and achieve them with discipline. Each goal achieved reinforces the belief that you are trustworthy for yourself. It is very easy to believe in others. It's really hard to believe in yourself when everything seems uncertain. But the secret is right there, developing an unshakable faith in your own abilities. It's not about expecting external validation. It's about deciding once and for all that you are in control of your story. When this conviction sets in, something changes. Your posture, your speech, the way you relate to the world. And the world, in turn, begins to respond differently. And with this new confidence building within you, it becomes easier to feel what really makes your heart beat faster. The question now is no longer, can I do it? But, what am I passionate about doing? It is the passion that we will explore in the next point of this journey. Passion is the fuel of the soul. It's what makes someone get up early without an alarm clock, work late without complaining, and continue even when no one is applauding. Madam C.J. Walker, the first black woman to become a millionaire in the United States, didn't wait for ideal conditions, she had passion. And that passion became a creative force that impacted millions. When a person is connected to something they truly love, they access almost inexhaustible energy. This energy attracts abundance, generates constant motivation, and strengthens self-discipline, even in the face of fatigue. Napoleon Hill once said, "Nothing great was achieved without enthusiasm." And passion is exactly that, raw enthusiasm. The passionate mind manifests with more intensity, as it vibrates with focus, burning desire, and surrender. Edison, for example, was obsessed with the possibilities of electricity. He wasn't looking for approval, he was looking for fulfillment. This is the difference between living out of obligation or living with purpose. True passion is not content to remain silent. She needs to express herself. And when that happens, personal growth becomes inevitable. Want to discover or rekindle your passion? Notice what moves you. What would make you work for free? What do you do that gives you that feeling of flow, where time just disappears? It could be writing, caring for people, cooking, leading, teaching. Anything that makes your heart vibrate. Allow yourself to experiment. If you feel like you're disconnected from everything, start by doing something simple that you've always enjoyed, even if it seems silly. Personal development also involves reconnecting with what makes sense. But be careful, passion without direction turns into frustration. That's why it needs to be combined with a success mentality and a real desire to get rich not only in your pocket, but in your soul. When you combine passion with mind power, an unbeatable force is born. A force that breaks patterns, dissolves negative thoughts, and manifests opportunities. Remember, passion doesn't need to make sense to others, it needs to make sense to you. And when you honor that, life responds with intensity. Now that the passion is ignited, the next step is to give shape to that inner fire. Because dreaming is beautiful, but it is when you transform that dream into a goal that the universe begins to move in your favor. Dreaming is necessary, but without goals, the dream is lost in the wind. Napoleon Hill makes this clear. A burning desire needs to be converted into a plan, with deadlines, actions, and commitment. Goals are maps. Without them, the mind wanders, gets distracted, and ends up returning to the starting point. When someone says they want to get rich, for example, the question that needs to be asked is, how? When? With what steps? Personal growth begins to gain structure when the dream becomes a clear strategy. Roger Bannister is an excellent example of this. Before him, they said it was impossible to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. But he set a specific goal with daily training, absolute focus, and mental reprogramming. The result? He broke the impossible. What's more, soon after, dozens of others also succeeded. Because a goal achieved by someone becomes a permission for others to also believe. This is the power of the mind in collective action. Goal setting transforms doubts into direction and movement. Want a practical exercise? Take a pen and paper and write down 3 goals with a set date. It could be, by day X, I will have read the book Smarter Than the Devil. Or by the end of the month, I will be earning extra income with my first digital product. Or by December, I will have saved $5,000. Then break each goal into small daily actions. This is self-discipline. And as you move forward, celebrate every little progress. This reinforces positive thinking and fuels motivation to continue. Goals also serve as an antidote to negative thinking. When your mind is occupied with a clear goal, it has less room for doubts, comparisons, and self-sabotage. Goals act as lighthouses in the fog. They maintain focus even when emotions fluctuate, even when the environment does not cooperate. What's more, each goal achieved increases your self-confidence, your sense of worthiness, and the vibrational frequency that attracts abundance. And then you begin to realize a powerful truth. Everything around you begins to align with your new vision of the future. But none of this works if your mind remains stuck in old patterns. It's time to understand how your mindset shapes the reality you live every day. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you can't, either way you're right." And he was. It all starts in the mind. Mindset is the filter through which you interpret the world. If the filter is dirty with limiting beliefs, fear, and negative thinking, reality will seem hostile, scarce, impossible. But when you clear this filter with positive thinking, powerful affirmations, and mental reprogramming, you begin to see doors where you previously saw walls. It is the mind that builds or destroys possibilities. Napoleon Hill was emphatic. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can accomplish. This isn't just pretty philosophy, it's mind science applied to real life. When you change your mindset, you change your attitudes. And when you change your attitudes, you begin to reap new results. Everything is interconnected. And you know what's craziest? Most people try to change their lives without first changing their thoughts. They want to get rich with a scarcity mentality. They want to prosper while repeating that money doesn't buy happiness. The account never closes like that. Want a simple and powerful exercise? Write down in a notebook all the negative phrases you believe about money, success, love, spirituality. Then, turn each one into a positive affirmation. For example, I never have money becomes money comes to me from multiple sources every day. Repeat these phrases daily out loud. This will seem strange at first, but this is how mental reprogramming starts to work. You are clearing old patterns and installing new codes in your mind. People with a success mindset see failures as lessons, challenges as stepping stones, and others' victories as inspiration. Those who live trapped in negative thinking interpret everything as a threat. Personal growth necessarily involves a change in perspective. Because reality is not neutral, it responds to the frequency you emit. And if you want to manifest a new life, you must first create that new life within yourself. This is how true self-improvement begins. But there's no point in just thinking differently if you don't allow yourself to continually evolve. The world changes, demands change, and anyone who wants to keep growing needs to develop a powerful and constant habit: lifelong learning. The mind is like a muscle. If it is not exercised, it atrophies. That's why the habit of continuous learning is the basis of lasting personal development. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, understood that his true wealth was not in what he owned, but in what he knew and, above all, in what he continued to learn. The power of the mind expands with each new knowledge. And the more you learn, the more your success mindset strengthens. Those who constantly learn are always one step ahead. Napoleon Hill always reinforced the importance of surrounding yourself with knowledge, good reading, and people who stimulate your mind. When learning becomes a habit, manifestation becomes faster because you start to act with more awareness, more strategy. Books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Mindset by Carol Dweck, these are not just readings, they are mental reprogramming tools. With each page, you install a new code in your mind, replacing limiting beliefs with attitudes of prosperity. But learning is not limited to books. Podcasts, mentoring, videos like this, everyday experiences, everything can be a source of growth. Want to learn about investments? Subscribe to a reliable channel and study for 15 minutes a day. Want to dominate your mind? Meditate, write, notice your patterns. What you learn today could be the key to unlocking a great opportunity tomorrow. Those who invest in knowledge never go backwards. What's more, knowledge fuels motivation. Each new idea is a spark for action. Continuous learning also protects you from stagnation. How many people do you know who stopped in time because they thought they already knew enough? This is dangerous. In today's world, those who do not evolve regress. And we're not just talking about career or money, but about life, mentality, spirituality. A mind open to learning is lighter, more adaptable, more connected with abundance. And this connection allows you to make decisions that are more aligned with your goals and who you are becoming. And speaking of adaptation, knowing how to learn is good, but knowing how to adapt is what guarantees your permanence and growth in any scenario. The world changes, and those who know how to adapt to new realities prosper. In the game of life, those who survive are not the strongest, but the most adaptable. The world changes all the time, and if you don't change with it, you'll be left behind. Thomas Watson, founder of IBM, understood this early. He didn't stick to what worked in the past. He shaped himself for the future. Adaptability is more than a skill, it's a mindset. It's when you understand that failures, changes, and challenges are not obstacles, but invitations to grow. And anyone who cultivates the power of the mind knows that every change hides a new opportunity for manifestation. Adapting doesn't mean giving up on your purpose. It means adjusting your sails to the wind that blows. A flexible mind learns from mistakes, changes its route without losing its destination, and continues moving forward with resilience. In professional development, for example, those who prosper are those who see new demands as chances to innovate. The same goes for personal and spiritual life. Relationships change, finances fluctuate, the world spins, and those who hold on to old mental patterns end up breaking down inside. Napoleon Hill talked about this when he showed how mental rigidity is an invisible prison. Negative thoughts are often the result of a mind that resists new things. Therefore, mental reprogramming is essential. It prepares you to respond with creativity, not fear. Are you going through a difficult time? Ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Or what can I learn here? These questions restructure thinking and make room for positive thinking to act. Adaptability is also a powerful form of affirmation. When you decide to adapt, you are telling the universe, I trust the process. I accept change to grow. This strengthens your success mindset, breaks limiting beliefs, and gets you moving, even in the face of uncertainty. Remember, whoever resists stops, but whoever flows advances. And this constant progress, even if slow, is the true path to self-improvement. Now that you know all these pillars, from the first step to mental flexibility, it's time to put everything together and apply it consistently. But first, you need to understand something crucial, which few people really realize. The difference between saying, one day, and declaring, today is my day one changes everything. Now that you have received each of these teachings, one by one, the question remains, what are you going to do with all of this? Are you going to close this video and go back to your usual routine? Or are you going to use this knowledge as a spark to change your story? Life does not transform those who know. it transforms those who apply. And if you've come this far, you already have something much bigger inside you than you imagine. You just need to decide to live up to your potential. Think about it. How long will you accept living trapped in the same limiting beliefs, waiting for luck to change? How long will you use "I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't know how" as an excuse for not manifesting the life you want? Wealth, abundance, professional and personal development are not privileges for the few. They are rewards for those who dare to act with courage and clarity. And it all starts with a simple decision: act today. You already have the tools. Now the change is in your hands. Tell me here in the comments, what was the part of this video that moved you the most? What idea shook you inside? Let's continue this conversation below. Your answer may inspire other people too. Remember, your growth begins when you truly commit. And of course, if you want to continue learning, evolving, and strengthening your mind with content like this, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. There's so much more coming, and you won't want to miss a thing. Do you see the video that is now appearing on your screen? He didn't appear to you by chance. Click and see, as it could help you a lot.